24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anytime you want it. Online and on demand. VerKRadio.com. The power of women.
Welcome to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation with Margot Levette. Heard on VerKRadio.com and worldwide on iHeartRadio. Women reinvented to become entrepreneurs, authors, speakers. Their second act is full of courage, full of how-tos, and inspiration. Now, let's get into the show. Here's your host, Margot Levette.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, today we are going to have a conversation with a seasoned sales strategist. And I don't think I've ever had someone on who can really address this thing of sales and leadership the way this lady does. So let me introduce her. She is an executive sales strategist, corporate leader, author of the RX Factor, and motivational speaker. I'm talking about KimberlyFrazier. And throughout Kimberly's 25-year career, her passion for coaching and building award-winning sales teams has propelled her by utilizing her proven system known as the RX Factor. This system teaches sales leaders how to minimize turnover and maximize revenue. And isn't that what we need in sales? Let me just share this with you. We're not talking with a novice here. Over 20 years of experience serving at global leadership teams with sales leaders located throughout the world. We found her in China. I think we found her in Brazil, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head, very impressive locations. So without further ado, and I could read more, but I think the conversation is just really going to reveal this lady, how dedicated she is and how sharp and savvy she is when it comes to sales and especially this thing of leadership. KimberlyFrazier, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Margot, for having me. I am definitely honored to be a guest here on your show, and I'm excited to dive into our conversation and just, enjoy sharing what all has been gifted to me.
Well, I tell you what you have is something, when we talk about sales, so many of us, and I have to raise my hand, we're just uncertain about it. We get unnerved by it. We get annoyed by it. So this conversation is going to be good. Mm-hmm. I've never had, when I'm thinking, I haven't had someone on who really knows about sales, who really talks about it. So how did you find out that this is your passion? This is your lot in life. This is your career path. This is what you're going to teach the rest of us. When did you understand that this is what I do?
Well, it took some time to really discover that. Growing up, I've always had this leadership mentality, and at the time, not even understanding that's what I had. But I always had a way with speaking to people, and people would gravitate to me, and I could pretty much convince them to do anything. And not knowing, back then being young, I was using it for all the wrong reasons. But as I began to get older and truly understand that, hey, people actually gravitate to me. People actually believe what I'm saying. How can I use this for the greater good, like to help people? And I didn't discover that until after I had my kids. And, I shared with you earlier, I'm a mother of 2 sets of twins, which really propelled me into leadership quickly. So obviously I was prepared for that. But my first jobs was always customer service. It was always selling something. I did telemarketing, and I was really good on the phone, like one of my first sales jobs. And I advanced quickly in that world. And I just really enjoy selling something that I believed in myself. Not even knowing that was the direction I was going, because I thought I was going to be a teacher, which is what I always wanted to be. But I am teaching, but in a total different arena here. But I've worked with major companies in the radio advertising world. I worked with Clear Channel, Radio One. I've worked with all of them, working in their sales and working with local businesses and just doing all of that. And I did that for years, like literally over 15 years, and working just in that arena. And I was successful every time, no matter what I was selling, whose team I was on, or what company I was in. I was always the top salesperson. But during that time, I also experienced a lot of challenges with sales leaders. And I began to see, a lot of favoritism happening within sales reps getting the better of the business. And then you got the newbies coming in, not getting the proper training. But then I also came across leaders who were empowering, and they made you want to work for them, and they made you feel like a team. So over my course of that 15 years, I got to experience what I called a leader, and I got to experience a manager. Yes. And Margot, I really like leaders more than I like managers.
Break it down to us.
So from there, I began to see that, I knew deep down inside that I always was going to be a leader of someone. I knew I was going to manage a team. I just didn't know where, when. I just knew that was in me. And so I began at a young age in this arena of sales. I began to journal, which I'm a big journal, and I would write down things I liked about a manager and things I didn't like about a manager. Things that I saw happening to other salespeople, and what moved them and what didn't move them, and the office gossip, or they're unhappy, and why they don't like their job, and their frustrations with sales and sales leaders. And it all came down to relationship, like not feeling valued. They felt like they were just a number. They're only as good as their last sell. And they were just coming down just to have a paycheck, and they're not really happy. So I'm just going to look for the next great sales job. If I can just get enough experience to go to the next great sales job. They weren't staying. So it was just turnover after turnover. And it just became the norm to the actual company. Like, okay, this is normal. We just get another group of salespeople in, and we'll just train them. And I'm like, this has to stop. But the number one thing, Margot, that really kept me that really, I guess, propelled me to say, this is what I want to do to help others. My passion is not, I don't want to say it's not for the sales leaders, because it is, but my main passion is for the sales reps. Because when I began to see reps doing things that they didn't feel comfortable doing, but they felt obligated to do it in order to keep their job, they begin working out of fear. The sales cause them to lie about their next sale, or lie to a customer to get the sale. And I said, God, if you ever put me in this position, I want to create an atmosphere where sales reps feel that they can be who they are, be honest, and feel valued. Yes. And so that's the approach I began taking. And I landed a wonderful job with a Fortune 500 company. And I've been there now for over 15 years. And I have led a successful sales team with no turnover.
Wow.
When I say no turnover, I mean, I have 15 reps. I now have 17, but 15 of those reps have been with me from day one.
Amazing.
And it's all contributed to putting the relationship before the sale, which is known as my RX factor.
Well, Kimberly, this makes, you're doing this in corporate, but I have heard a couple of people on the show say, before you do anything, establish the relationship with your, both of us are podcasters, establish the relationship with your guests. Relationships trump anywhere. So what you're saying is so very valuable for corporate and for private sector in everything that we do. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Relationship is key. I am so passionate about teaching managers how to become leaders and what that looks like. And there's, my book, The RX Factor, gives 6 strategies of which is based off the acronym IMPACT. And that's what leaders do. They have an impact on the lives of these people. And these sales reps, literally half of their day is spent under the leadership of this person. So you as a leader have been entrusted with the lives of not only them, but their family, their kids, their home, their bills, like all that's in your hands. So you got to be really careful of how you exert your authority, your power, and how that's affecting people. So relationship is key. People want to feel value. And I did a little test, Margo. I guess I would say it would be a test, or just kind of do it out there to see what would happen. I had a position come open in the corporate company that I work for a position such as mine in another area. And they said, "Hey, Kimberly, anybody from your team you think can step and do what you do in this area?" I said, "Well, I don't know. Let's throw it out there." So we threw it out there. We sent an email to the team. We said, "Anybody interested?" The next day I called HR and I said, "Well, did anybody of the team show interest so I can get them prepared?" And they said, nobody held their hand up. I said, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, nobody held their hand up." So, of course, I talked to the team, and they were like, "We're happy where we are."
Uh-huh.
So that tells you people don't move for money.
Yes.
People work for people.
Yes.
People, if they feel valued, they feel appreciated, the money just comes. The money, it overtakes them. So I learned to understand that sales reps, they do not want to leave. They want to just feel valued. And it will save corporate America. I mean, 26% studies show that 26% of a company's reasoning for sales reps leaving is because of them not feeling valued. Yeah. And that's why they're leaving. So I am on a mission. I'm on a mission.
It sounds like it, and you are quite successful with what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody's listening. You're listening with a corporate ear, and you're listening with a solopreneur ear, and you're listening with a small business ear, because relationship and how you treat people, it doesn't matter on what level. You have to do it according to Kimberly's RX factor, so that you won't have a large turnover, and you can attract the kind of people in your circle and in your business that are going to help you to only thrive. So now, Kimberly, I have a quick question. You made the distinction between leader and manager. It sounds as though you are actually getting your sales reps ready to be their own leaders versus managers out there in the field. Am I hearing that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me tell you the difference in, based off my experience of what a leader is and what a manager is. A leader is someone that walks alongside their team. They're walking beside them. And as they're walking, they're learning from each other. They're pouring into each other. Because I learn a lot from my reps. My reps learn a lot from me. And as we're walking down this path of where we're going, I'm just giving you a visual here. A leader pours into that person. And when it's time for that rep to venture off to where their next stop, their next left turn, or where it's time for them to take their own road, they should be well equipped with everything that leader knows that's made them a successful leader, to where they can now go and make other leaders, and they should be ready. Now, a manager doesn't walk beside, a manager walks in front. And a manager dictates everything of what's happening. And if they feel that rep is getting too close or getting to know too much, that they start to feel threatened that they're going to lose their job, they push back. They push them back. They never let them get beside them. They only want to have them behind them. And they're not pouring into each other because he's in front, that they're in back. So to me, a manager just manages everything and make sure all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, however that has to get done. That's just how it gets done, regardless of how it hurts people, or as long as they can say they did it, that's what a manager does. A leader will take the punches. A leader will fight. A leader will, take onus for their team. A leader will take full responsibility, and a leader will encourage, empower, and inspire, and teach them everything that they know, because they should have no insecurities. Because your team is the one that makes you look like make you a great leader. So to go back to your question, on my team, of my 17 reps that I oversee right now, every one of them, no matter which one, they could step up and do my job. Wow. Easily. I have prepared and equipped all of them. I have delegated. I've let all of them take roles and everything that I do, that it would be hard to pick who gets it next, because any of them can step up and do it.
That is very interesting. And when you put it that way, I can see and tell the difference between a manager. A manager would never let that happen. But you, being the leader that you are, you know that you are prepared to take a step up when that opportunity comes, and you're not stepping on somebody else to make sure that they're not going to just grab you by the heels and drag you down. That's
right.
interesting.
That's right. And
have you always felt that way, Kimberly? How did you come into this thing of being such a powerful leader?
Just over the years of experiencing, but more so what made me a great leader is my team. So the team that I've been overseeing now for this period of time, has been well over 10 years at this particular company, but they make me the leader that I am. Because of them believing in me and me believing in them. And, a leader, and let me just back up real quick, Margot. A leader also, this is really key. This is really, really important. And what I see is a big gap in corporate America and in sales organization is a leader sees the entire field at all the time. They can see everything on that field, that they can put a strategy together to bring that team to the win. They know when a player is hurt. They know when a player is, good to go. They know, they just know their team. And the only way to know your team is to build that relationship. You know when they're up, you know when they're down, you know when something is bothering them. I mean, you even know their children's name. That's what a leader does, because a leader does not care just about the numbers in the business. They care about the person. And where a manager, they don't see the whole field. They just see the right now. They just see that little part of where if you look at it like a football game, that they just look at that small part of the team, like that small section of what they need to get to that end zone, versus seeing the whole field and how to put the players in place. And that comes with trusting your team. That's just not, you can go to school and learn how to be this great leader. It comes from building that relationship and knowing your team. So that's the only way you're going to be able to put together a great strategy that's going to lead your team to success year after year after year after year.
Well, I keep asking the question about leadership and your style, because I'm thinking back over the 26 years that I spent in corporate, and I'm telling you, I saw more managers than I did leaders. And I'm not, my God, I am so grateful to have lasted as long as I did in that environment. But this thing, the way the positioning of leadership, it is such a grand opportunity for an organization if you lead correctly. I guess that's what my mouth is just open, thinking this renews my hope in leadership in corporate, And then when you leave these corporate jobs, then if you've been leading that way, then if you become an entrepreneur, you become a podcaster, whatever you do, you probably take those same skills, that same mindset, that same outlook with you. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Because, not only do I do, and I'm sure you're going to get into it, but when I first began to say, hey, I want to be in entrepreneurship, but I still enjoy what I do for this company, for corporate. And I still, want to run this team and continue to get them to the success that we are seeing, consistently. But I also had a passion, and that passion is helping everyday people. With everyday experiences, to enjoy life on purpose every day. So that led me to launch my company, Enjoying Life Coaching. And there I work with individuals and then help them do just that. But the same leadership, the same style, everything that I've learned from this team and everything that I've learned for my 25 years of sales and, going around to other businesses and helping them do the same, I've taken that same thing and implemented in my company. And my company is it's successful, it's growing, I'm seeing things happening, and people love it. And it's just the exact same way, the same strategy that I put in place in leadership in corporate. You can take that and put that in your own corporation and watch the same thing happen.
Enjoy life on purpose. Wow, I just love that. Kimberly, do you find that you have to, when you some of your personal, the clients on the personal life, the people that you coach as a personal life coach, do you find that when you begin working with them, you have to really dig deep to find out whether they're enjoying life on purpose, they aren't, what's really going on? And do you find that most people do enjoy life on purpose?
Well, that's a good question, Margot. Most of actually, I would say 100% of the clients that come to me or people that I'm working with right now, um, they want to enjoy life on purpose, and that's what draws them to the company because they're not enjoying life. So there's something they're missing, or some gap that needs to be filled, or some void, or just something just isn't going right. It could be as simple as, I just cannot stay focused and to my regiment of losing this weight journey. And they're not enjoying life because of that. So I help, coach through that. But it could be a numerous of things. They're in a relationship. It's something that's causing them not to enjoy life. So it's usually easy for me to see that, only one, because that's what draws them to. And that's the first thing I ask. What drew you to enjoying life coaching? Actually, I just saw it come up on Google, and I saw the name Enjoying Life, and I'm just not enjoying life. Or it was the name, or, I just really like, your whole brand or what have you. But it's really the enjoying life. Everybody longs for that. And they don't know how to do it. They don't know what that looks like. They think enjoying life is owning, fancy cars and big houses and traveling the world. None of that is enjoying life. That's just enjoying the moment, that one moment, right? And that one experience. But when you're really enjoying life, that you enjoy life whether you had or you didn't. It's just enjoying it. And that's what I help people discover. I help people understand what their purpose, what their passion. I find that a lot of people are operating in somebody else's gift that they think is their gift, or they're pursuing somebody else's purpose, not their purpose, or they're pursuing what somebody said they think they should be doing, or they're pursuing it for the wrong reason because this person did it and they're making millions of dollars. So that's mistake number one. You're chasing the money. So you're never going to be happy because money is trying to chase you. And it's not going to catch you until you discover your own purpose and passion. And then the money is just going to overtake you. So that's what I, work with. And to answer your question, yes, 100% of the people that come, they're not enjoying life. And it's easy to tell. It doesn't take me a lot to figure that out.
Wow. That's something I was hoping that it would be 50-50, but we look around at the world we live in, the pressures and everything that people deal with. It's no wonder that it's 100%. I'm looking at your vision, part of your vision statement here, and I love that you lead people to focus and act on what matters most. So it sounds like when you are working with folks to enjoy life on purpose, you take one step after the next step, and you're constantly moving them towards those things that matter.
Yeah, and it's the simplest things too, it's not some hard thing to figure out. And that's usually the biggest thing. People, I don't know my purpose. I don't know my passion. I don't know. Or I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And really it's there. It's deep down in you. We definitely was born with our gifts and our purpose and our passion. It's just we've never really tapped into it. And, one of the key questions, Margo, that I ask every client of mine, and when they answer that question, we begin to work towards understanding what their purpose is. And the question is, when you were 5 years old, what did you say you want to be when you grow up? Wow. Because when you're that young, whatever is inside of you that's awakened that you want to be, that's probably 9 times out of 10, that's where you're supposed to be. Now, some people will say, well, Kimberly, I don't know, because I wanted to be a firefighter, but I'm not a firefighter. I just thought of it because of the truck. It just fascinated me. It's like, no, something woke that up. So I'm not saying you like I told you earlier, I wanted to be a teacher. Yes. I thought teacher. Well, I'm not in a classroom teaching. But if you look at what the skill sets of what a teacher does, that's exactly what I do. So the person that wanted to be a firefighter, what does a firefighter do? They put out fires. They like challenges. So when you start to identify what that person or that job, whatever that is, career, what that does, what they do in that job, you can begin now to start working towards your purpose and your plan. And when I ask that question, people are like, I never looked at it that way. You're right. I've always liked that. And then here's something funny with that question, because some people are always trying to get me when they say, no, I bet you won't catch this one. This has nothing to do with me. And one young lady said, you're going to think this is funny, Kimberly, but I wanted to be on a trash truck. I wanted to pick up trash. I looked at the neighborhood. I used to like to see the trash guys get out and put the trash on the truck. And I'm not doing that. I said, yeah, but what do they do? What does a trash? They don't like clutter. They're organized. They're this, they're that. And she was like, oh my gosh, I am a neat freak. So, okay. So then maybe would you be interested, maybe something towards, maybe you would start your own cleaning business. Oh, I never thought of that. So just little things like that will help them start to at least begin the conversation, to help them start to dig deep, to figure what that is. And you'll be surprised at how many of my clients walk out knowing exactly what their purpose and how excited they are, where they came so defeated and now they're leaving with, I know what I'm here to do. And I can't wait to get started.
That's a blessing. I mean, that is a blessing from God to be able to help people that way and to bring that kind of clarity so that they can move and enjoy life on purpose because they are meeting their purpose. That is a blessing. Oh, my goodness.
And the key thing to enjoying life on purpose, that purpose piece is key. Mm-hmm. The purpose is enjoying life on purpose, not just do it on purpose. What that means is find your purpose. Because when you find your purpose, you're enjoying life.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I start with my clients, and we just begin winging through it and see what it is we need to do to get you there. What are some things you need to stop doing? What are some things you need to do more of? What are some things you need to keep doing? And we write all that down, you'll start to see how they, if you stop doing this, you can start doing this that you really want to do. So now we can begin winging out all that, and then we can focus that in on exactly what your purpose is. And now you're going to start enjoying life because you figured it out.
Well, I tell you what, you have quite an arsenal in your hands with Enjoy Life on Purpose podcast. I understand that you have Enjoy Life on Purpose journal. You said that you are a journaler, and Enjoy Life on Purpose, the book. Listen, will you tell us about your publications? Let us know how we can get a hold of those books.
Well, you can go to my website and you can go to enjoyinglifecoaching.com and go to books and you'll see them listed there. I'm super excited about the Enjoying Life on Purpose book, which is really titled Enjoying Life on Purpose Through Real Life Experiences. And what that book is consistent of is 12 real life experiences that many of us face. It's a common experience that many of us go through, whether it's cancer, divorce, addictions, all that. So I've taken those real life experiences, and each experience, I wrote a mini story of that particular experience. It leads into a inspirational poem to inspire and encourage you. And then it's followed up with a summary of how you can now enjoy life through that particular experience. So it's 12 experiences with the story, with the poem, and then the summary to tell you how you can enjoy life through that. So I'm excited because we just got that completed. We are now taking the pre-orders for it. It will be in the stores and Amazon in a couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that. And of course, the journal, people are loving that. They've been selling like hotcakes. And this journal helps them to do something on purpose every day. And it's a 90-day thing. And for the every 30 days, it repeats itself up to 90 days. So by the 90 day, you should be in the mindset of doing things on purpose for you so that you can enjoy life. So for an example, the first one is today I will enjoy life on purpose. 3 things I will do. Or today I will stop knocking on closed doors on purpose. 3 things I will do when a door closes. And they got to write that down. And it's different things. And they will write 3 things down every day. And then it'll repeat itself every 30 days for 90 days. And by then they should start changing their mindset and begin enjoying life.
How beautiful. What a beautiful package. To me, a lot of us give Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and that type of thing. And how wonderful would it be to gift someone with the journal and the book, bundle that thing together. Just a thought for somebody, one of the listeners. And that's awesome. That's a game changer. That is a game changer.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, Margot, because I actually was going to, at the end of your show, I wanted to send not only you, your own package for having me as a guest that you can have, but I also wanted to give you a few copies of the journal that you can share and give to some of your guests or some of your listeners that I think will be good for you to be able to give them that.
Oh, that is so very awesome and generous. Thank you, Kimberly. That's it's going to change the life of some lives because you know what I was you were explaining and bringing out the beauty and essence of your book. I thought people think that most of us have it all together, and if they just only really knew the real truth, all of us, there's a common thread that we all need support, that we all need a mentor, a coach, that we all need somebody to lean on. We all need things to read to guide us. So, I mean, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is going to be marvelous because I can think of a couple of people that would really they're in a very difficult and different place in their lives, and I think that this would really help them a lot. They don't
Absolutely.
need me in their ear. They need the journal where they can interact, and then they need to be able to read through the stories and understand that they really are blessed, and
Yes.
hopefully this will open up their eyes.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So. Well,
Well,
and you know what? Our X Factor, we don't want to forget about that. When is it coming out? How do we get our hands on it?
I don't have the date yet. We just finished it, completed literally 2 days ago. So
Uh-huh.
now we're in the marketing publishing phase of that. So I will have all those dates hopefully by the end of next week. But it is finished, and I am super excited to get it out there because I know it's going to help so many sales organizations and sales leaders to become the leaders that I know that is there within to empower people to want to be leaders as well. So I'm
Yes, yes.
excited. God is taking me through so many different things, Margot, and I'm always thinking ahead. I'm like, okay, I got to put this in a webinar, and I got to do
Uh-huh.
this, and I got to do that. So I'm excited. I gotta stop, slow myself down though. My husband is like, okay, that's too much.
Put the brakes on, baby. Put the brakes on, huh? But you're getting some things done that are really changing people's lives, and
Yes.
what at the end of the day, we really have no excuse for saying I couldn't make it. No one showed me how. It's like the Lord always has a ram in the bush, so to
Yes.
say. So
Yes.
if you're not if you don't listen to podcasts, then and you're a reader, well, then there are books out here that will help you. So there's always a way to change your mindset. There's always somebody who's available to help you move along in this life and enjoy life on purpose. I thought when I saw purpose, I thought enjoy life intentionally. Now that's the way I was taking it. But yeah, within your working within your purpose, oh my God, it doesn't
Yeah.
get any better.
And it's okay to take it that way because that's what most people do because it does go hand in hand because if you in your purpose you're intentionally enjoying life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh goodness, Kimberly Frazier, thank you so very much. I mean, I'm still at the top of this conversation because I'm this thing of leadership. We have, I think, that we watered it down over the years, and I'm glad that there's this movement, and people such as yourself are really surfacing and speaking out as to what a real leader is. That
Yes.
makes all the difference. You know what? I really do have one more question. I just want
Sure.
with artificial intelligence, what do you see with that coming into corporate, and it eventually it's just going to change lives on a larger scale. There's going to be room for leadership, and do you think that kind of leader, the type of leadership that you speak of, is going to be the only leadership that's going to be about, and what's going to happen to the managers?
That's a good question, and I hear what you're saying about this. It definitely is going to change corporate, but I truly believe that when you are in leadership, that when I say leadership, I mean leadership for a sales team, which is my niche there.
Mm-hmm.
That always, to me, I don't think that can be replaced.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it can't be, but what I'm saying is people need to. how can I word it? I want to make sure I say it right. So it takes people to motivate people. And it takes people to motivate people to be able to go and sell their products. People buy from people. People, they're more comfortable with buying from people. To me, I think that it may change way down, but I think that's a long ways ahead for sales teams and sales leaders. Now, the other leadership arena, like there's different leaderships, different parts of an organization, that artificial intelligence, could come in and take. But I think from the sales world, people need to be out and they need to talk to people in order to sell their products and keep their business afloat. I think if they take everything that way, you're going to see businesses not go as the way they thought it would. They're going to end up bringing people back. And I see that happening now, even in corporate. This company that I work for has vendored out so many different people and just vendoring, like not even artificial intelligence. And then they're seeing that we need to bring these people back in-house because we're losing where we thought we were gaining by, cutting the cost. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I know, I just don't see that yet for a sales team.
It answers it. And so for a person that's listening, become the leader that you should be, that you can be. Don't be the manager, because as time goes on, it's the one that is a leader in sales that is going to survive and make the difference, who's going to have the team that will not depart from you. It'll be 15 years. It's good. You won't even transfer out more money. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
There you go. You said it better than I can. You said exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you, Margot. Exactly. Be a leader. Leaders will last. Managers will fade.
Yeah. Oh, and hey, they need to go on to the graveyard. Their day is over. That's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your time, Kimberly. Once again, will you tell people how they can get in contact with you? Because I can't imagine that a person won't want to reach out to you and, take you on for some coaching, at least get to the root of what am I supposed to be doing in this world, in this life?
Absolutely. You can find me on enjoyinglifecoaching.com or KimberlyFraziernow.com. They'll lead you to the same place. And you can find out more about the personal coaching as well as the sales strategist and training. Also, you can check out my podcast, Enjoying Life on Purpose podcast. You can hear that on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. You can download that app there. And I'm getting ready to launch the RX Factor podcast, where I'll be working with having guests on that are actually sales leaders to talk about what makes them great leaders and some of their struggles and, becoming that leader and remaining a leader there. And then also talking to some sales reps and what their challenges are and what they look for in leaders. So I'm excited to get that launched. And that will be coming in July. So much to come.
Well, I tell you what, Enjoy Life on Purpose is a fabulous show, and RX Factor, the podcast coming up, I'm definitely going to tune in because there's much to learn. I mean, corporate or solopreneur, whatever you are, we're all in the thing of sales. And the better we learn how to treat people, how to relate to people, how to communicate with people, the better off we're just going to be. Our business is going to flourish. And when we, at the end of our days, then we can say that we really did what we were supposed to do. We made the impact we were supposed to make. So I promise, no more questions. Kimberly, I'm going to let you go. You're going to have to come back, though. I want to hear more when you get your other podcast off the ground. But in the meantime, I'm going to say thank you. And thank you, listeners, for another download and enjoying this episode. I'm tongue-tied here. I'm a reinvented woman. And if you want to reinvent yourself, you want to read all about my story and the story of others, go over to my website, herbusinesshervoice.com. And in a little bit, that's going to be a brand new home. But in the meantime, herbusinesshervoice.com. My book is over there. And like I say, it's not just my story. It's the story of other women who reinvented themselves. Some have come through some pretty harrowing tales to reinvent themselves. Now they are authors, speakers, and since that publication, a couple of them have become podcasters. So for your reading pleasure and for you to be encouraged and know that if we reinvented ourselves, become authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, you can do the same thing. So I'll be back next Tuesday with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation with Margot Levette. Since you like what you heard, go over to herbusinesshervoice.com to get a copy of her book. Subscribe to the show and receive updates, free products, and offers. Be sure to let family, friends, and colleagues know about the show. Margot returns next week with a brand new dialogue on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.
VerkeRadio.com, certified #1 digital talk radio station in the world. The power of women.